Hi, so in this video I'm just going to show you how you can use the PowerShell module and REST API to obtain certificates via Certdog for your Microsoft CA or internal CAs. So just a quick recap, we have a couple of certificate issuers configured. We have an internal CA configured with the issuing CA and a profile called TLS profile. And we have a Microsoft CA configured, and these are the CA details. The template that we're requesting certificates from is here. And we can request certificates from both of these CAs now. So, for example, I could upload a CSR and obtain one from the Microsoft CA, and that will issue my certificate, and also from the internal CA. Okay, so that's all working good from the UI. And here are those two certificates I just issued, one from the Microsoft CA and one from the internal CA. So now that we're going to use the API, what I'd like to do is configure a new team and a specific API user. Now, a team limits access to specific certificate issuers, and by default when you install you have an admin team which is an administrator. They can perform all of the user team operations, but what we're going to do is add a new team, and we're going to call this API team, and we're only going to give it access to, in the first place, the Microsoft CA, and that's that Microsoft TLS issuer that we configured earlier. We don't need to worry about these for now. I'm going to leave that as that. And I'm also going to create another user. And I'm going to call this API user. And give it its email address. Email addresses are used for notifications and sending of links to obtain issued certificates. And we'll look at that later. I'm not going to generate the I'm just going to set a basic password here. It's just going to be password for the purposes of this demo, and we're going to be a member of that team we just created. Okay, so now I have this user, which is a member of the API team, and that API team has access to this Microsoft TLS issuer. Okay, so now we just open a PowerShell window as administrator. Okay, now I'm going to navigate to where I installed Certdog, and I installed it straight onto the C drive here. I'm going to go into the bin directory. Now there's a module called Certdog module. Okay, so if you run this command, it will import all the functions from that module. Now we're going to log in. And I'm going to log in with the account we just created. Okay, so now we're logged in. We can obtain a certificate. So there are many commands we can use, and what we're going to use in the first place is this one. So this is request certificate. I'm going to provide it with a DN. Giving it the CA name, that's the issuer name. And we said it was Microsoft TLS, that's the one we created. And with this request, I'm not passing it a CSR, I'm asking Certdog to create the CSR on our behalf. So I've provided the CSR generator name, and we created that a couple of videos ago. And this password here is the password that will protect the P12 that will be generated. Okay, so there we go. So there's the cert. So let's have a look what that looks like. Okay, so what we've been returned with here is the certificate itself and the P12 data. And we could save that to a file if we wanted and then import it. But let's take a closer look at this certificate. So this ID is the certificate itself. So if we run another command, and we provide that ID, these are all of the details associated with that certificate. Okay, so we have the certificate data itself, issuer DN, valid from, valid to, and all these can be used within your scripts to monitor certificates or obtain certificate details. Okay, so that was the PowerShell option there. Now let's have a quick look at the REST API. So if you come back to Certdog and click down on the bottom right here, this API link, that will open up the Swagger page where all the REST API details are described. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try it. Swagger allows you to actually try out these commands. So we're going to log in. Okay, so let's click this. This is the login controller. We're logging in. We're going to try it out. And we can enter the details here. So it says here password. So we just set this password for the API user just a moment ago. Okay, then we're going to execute that. We see if we scroll down that we get a response, and the response that we're after is this token, okay, which is the bearer token. So I'm going to copy that, and if you come back to the top of the Swagger page, there's this authorize button here. You can add in the API key here and click authorize, and there we go. And now that will add that to the header of the subsequent calls that we're going to make. So for example, let's have a look at the certificates controller, and these are all the operations that you can do on certificates. So the get cert that we were just running is here. It's API certs and it's a get, and if we obtain that ID again, we can pass that to this call. Okay, so we click here, try it out. And we're going to plug that in there, and we're going to execute, and we'll see we should get the similar sort of output that we just saw earlier, which is the it's pulled out the common name and all of the certificate details for us. And that's how you can use Swagger to test the API. You can of course use Postman, and we do have Java and .NET APIs that also use the REST API. And so you can just scroll down here. There's everything that you can do from the user interface, you can also do from the REST API. Okay, so that was a quick overview of the API. We'll go into other integration possibilities later, but that's it for now. Thanks for watching.